Today, we have Ian's tournament-winning army made up of Rohan, Fiefdoms, and White Council. He's taking on Azog's Legion, played by local legend Ben. This match is 650 points, and the scenario is Domination. I'll be commentating alongside Charles, Ian, and Marcus Hammond from the Dern Show podcast. Go check them out. Without further ado, let's see our player lists.
Today, I have Saruman as my army leader. I'm also bringing along Theodred, who is a disgusting combat beast for his points, and Forlong the Fat, who is also quite good at killing troops, and then a whole host of Fiefdoms and Rohan troops. Honestly, I'm pretty excited because I have Saruman, who's great at shutting down big enemy heroes. I'm pretty sure I can neutralize Bolg relatively easily and just let my heroes do the work. The one thing that is making me nervous is the fact that he has a warband of ambushing goblins, and I don't know where they're gonna go. So I think I might have to just try and keep everything kind of centrally and put everything together and not let one of my warbands get ambushed and caught out by the goblins.
Hey, my name is Ben. I'm bringing Azog's Legion. Favorite list, I'm super excited to play them. We're playing Domination, so goal is going to be to make sure I got lots of board control. I'm really going to be relying on my ambushing goblins. They're going to be able to give me that range and that threat that Azog's Legion typically doesn't get with not a lot of fast-moving troops. He's playing mostly Rohan with some Fiefdoms allied in there, so he will have a decent amount of shooting, so closing the gap is going to be really important. Only thing I'm nervous about, my only big hitter is Bolg, and he does have Saruman, so I think I'm really going to have to lean into my troops, make sure Bolg can get some kills, then I think that should be in a good spot.
Okay, so Domination. This one's interesting. Pretty even deployment, 24 inches, and really it's all about actually getting to and holding those objectives. It's going to be interesting to see how the players place because it's actually alternating. So you place one in the center, and then it's a decision about where you think the game is going to go, and really that's the whole point of the game. 10 points for the objective and a few very small potential points for breaking your enemy and wounding the enemy leader.
Yeah, we see the objectives going down. Red is the evil player, and then the black chips are being placed by the good player.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm really surprised Evil deployed so far back.
Little warband drop there just with Saruman so we can actually see basically where the whole Evil army is going before Good has to put down most of their army.
I thought they would be right up on that center line, trying to force engagement a little bit more. Let's see how this works out for them.
The two battle lines are faced across with each other.
I think Good side is going to take advantage of its shooting and to see how many models they can take down before they close in, potentially dismounting Bolg as well.
Yeah, you see the good side deploying more in a block formation while the evil side is more spread out.
But the ambushing goblins are a big factor here until you kind of know where they are coming on. Otherwise, you can get outflanked really easily.
Going into turn one, we have good winning priority. Not necessarily the best thing. Saruman casts Terrifying Aura. So that's always a good spell to cast on the first turn, causing terror now.
That 8-inch threat range from the throwing spears, very handy.
Alright, so you see Good inching forward a little bit here. Whereas Evil going more the full distance, being a bit more aggressive as expected. And we go into the shoot phase here. There's some throwing spears and bows going off.
Good will have to really maximize the shooting here, and it looks like they are getting some kills, but with their charge to the middle, there's not going to be much opportunity to really leverage those bows.
In this game, the model count is not too different, so every kill kind of matters here. Ooh, that's a tie for the priority roll, so it goes to Evil this time.
So Good won't get their throwing spears, but it'll allow them to react really well, which is something you want with having a magic user like Saruman.
Good's going to get a really good counter charge off on your evil. I can understand why evil has to charge in. You got to close the distance. You don't want to take another turn of throwing spears, but the good heroes are going to get a charge, a cavalry charge with support. This is going to be a very interesting turn.
And there was the decision there not to deploy the Goblin Warband, which is interesting choice. We'll see. It's nice to have them in reserve, I guess, but we'll see if that pays off for him later.
Here you see Forlong and Theodred stacking onto one orc, so we know what's coming there in the combat phase. And Saruman tries to cast a Sorcerer's Blast. He does get the 6.
But still trying to burn the resources off of Bolg. Would have preferred if he got a might point off, but not bad.
So we see the Berserkers staying home, protecting the objectives, as well as trying to go capture the ones on the flanks as well. And here we go, the hero combat. Bolg mirrors it with the Master of Battle. It looks like the Gundabad or Captain.
He's going to have to be careful. The orc captain's going to have to be a champion and survive one turn of a double cavalry charge. Nope. He's gone.
That's a lot of 6s.
It's pretty even otherwise, though. It looks like both side lost 5 troops this turn.
Yeah, but you could see the shooting damage from Good really playing a factor. Evil started out with more models, but now it's pretty even.
Note the position of Saruman hanging out back there with the near that terrain piece. Very tempting target for the Goblin Mercenaries.
This is a big priority roll right here, and it goes to Good. So we see the Sorcerer's Blast actually succeeding this turn, and that's not a good thing for Evil. Bolg is now dismounted.
He's far away from the other 2 good heroes, so he's not likely to be able to get into combat with them, and he's the only real answer that Evil has to those heroes.
This time it's Good deciding not to have the Goblin Mercenaries deploy, which makes a lot of sense because there's a lot less Evil models to face.
And can't forget that the Orc Captain died last turn, so at the moment, Bolg is the only Evil hero on the board.
It looks like we have another good hero combat setup coming off of that Gundabad bat. This isn't good for Evil.
Here we have the shoot phase. We got a couple Berserkers hanging out by the objectives, nice and open for these archers. And both of them go down.
Oh, that is a pivotal shoot phase.
And here we have a lot of hero combats going on. Saruman, Forlong, and then Bolg again getting the free Master of Battle. So the good hero combat succeeds here.
We just see the heroes repositioning there, and Theodred charging back into the middle, but staying away from the hero combat potential from Bolg.
So we see that Berserker bounce off that hero combat and going for the objective in the back there. Saruman's hero combat also goes off.
Yeah, just repositioning with most of the good heroes this turn.
The combats aren't going very well for evil side here.
Here we can see the current situation of the objectives. Evil holds 2. There's 1 neutral, 1 contested, and good holds 1. Okay, so what do you guys think of the game so far? It looks pretty even to me.
I think Evil started off with a better board position, but it's kind of neutral now, and Good has the opportunity to get that positioning. However, the mercenary ambush is still like a big issue. It really depends on where they come in, because that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stress on the evil player to actually make sure they deploy, because if they, for whatever reason, if they don't deploy for the next turn or maybe 2 turns, they're gonna the rest of their friends in the middle of the board are gonna get overrun really quickly. So they need to deploy, and they need to be able to find like that super valuable target right away. Otherwise, they're just going to get shot off the board. Those good heroes in the middle are having a lot of success with their combats.
And importantly, too, Bolg is out of will points right now, and Saruman, I don't think, can get pinned down this next turn. So he's going to be getting a transfix or some spell off.
I expected the evil army to be a little more resilient. I didn't expect their numbers to go down that quickly. I think Ben needs to deploy the mercenaries as soon as possible. He really needs the numbers at this point.
Yeah, and Ian really living up to his motto here. Both winning games. His shooting has been incredible.
There's still a shot for Evil though, because again, this game could end pretty suddenly. And so when you deploy the mercenaries, you can tag, and if you can get to objectives quickly and win those objectives, the game could end at a very inopportune time. So both players are going to have to be very careful about how they're managing their positioning, how they're managing the objectives those next few turns as armies begin to break.
Yeah, this is one of the scenarios that you can't really rely on just killing the opponent. All right, guys, before we get back to the game, if you guys like this kind of content and if you guys want to see more of it, then please like and subscribe. Let's get back into the game. All right, turn 4 priority. And it goes to Good again. Seems like a trend here. All right, so here we have the heroic moves going off.
Evil really needs this one.
And they don't get it.
That's not good. That means Bolg is going to get transfixed. This is not good for Evil. Let's see. It's going to really come down, I think, to the Goblin Mercenary deployment. So fingers crossed for the Orcs. Evil was almost 2-to-1, having 2 guys for every one of theirs in combat. So these mercenaries are desperately needed.
So the Goblin Mercenary had to burn 1 will and 1 might just to pass the courage roll. But, fair enough. They need to get on right now.
Well, that's the risk of not deploying when you do pass the roll earlier on in the game, right? You might not get a nice roll like that for a while.
And this was actually a highly complicated maneuver because the Goblin Mercenaries can't come on in combat or in the control zones of the opponent. So Ben had to peg all the enemy models before deploying.
It would have been nice if the captain didn't have to use his might to come on so that he could challenge another heroic move, but at least he passed.
And in the shooting phase, nothing happens. And here we go in the combat phase. We have a transfixed Bolg, and Theodred calls Heroic Strike. And Good gets the 6 for the fight. And for the wound, that's a lot of 6s. I think that's enough.
Bolg gets 1 shot. That's not good.
Theodred with the re-rolling to wound and then the accident in there, that's a lot of damage.
I mean, it's rough losing Bolg right now, but like we said, With the Goblin deployment, Evil will have to pull some tricks, but they do still have a chance. Alright, going into a pivotal turn 5. Here we have the heroic moves again. And it goes to Evil, luckily. A well-deserved break.
All right, so they have a shot. This is where they can start positioning and get ready to fan out. They're not going to have a lot of time because Good can still combat off of these little fights.
Saruman kind of running out of targets, so just decides to try and Sorcerer's Blast a random model in the melee there. And Forlong coming around so he can get line of sight on that Berserker, so he'll stop hiding.
The shooting doesn't do anything. Ooh, Evil gets the good banner.
Getting the banner is pretty big because Evil's already fighting at a fight value disadvantage, so taking the good size reroll away is nice.
And here's the flop from Theodred.
That's really good for Evil. That's going to be a lot of lost mobility.
That random orc did what Bolg could not.
So, good news for Evil, they're actually still not broken.
And Good just keeps on winning priority.
I believe Evil's out of might here.
So Saruman's just throwing transfixes on the captain now.
Looks like Theodred got the pick on the Gundabad banner there. It's a nice help for them as well. Having the banners makes a big difference when it's just down to a bunch of one-on-one fights.
This is a super interesting turn because it looks like both armies broke, and everybody is so tied up in the center. This game can spiral to completion really quickly.
Good is actually 2 models from breaking, but I think that's a close enough number that Evil can easily break Good next turn as well.
It's going to be important to see who wins this priority and how they leverage and lock up the enemy heroes. Stand fast is going to be an issue for both armies.
Evil finally catches a break and wins priority. But Good has might though, so I guess it doesn't do much.
Looks like Good's just trying to tag as many models as possible that have high courage, and then maybe trying to let the some of them goblins run away.
There's a Berserker on the south objective that passed his courage test, though. That's very crucial.
And here you see Good just locking down the objectives on one side. And it looks like we are at 25% for Evil side.
The Good side just managed to get broken on that last turn.
Very well fought.
Ooh, so it's actually 6 models to 6 models in the center.
It's actually a good result for Evil considering the ambush that came in late in the game.
So just a look at the map after the game ends here.
So the game ends with a 8-3 to Good side.
So, bows.
Yeah, about that.
First round of shooting, I was hoping to maybe get 1 kill. And then it just whacked 3 guys. And
That's why I marched up.
Bolg resisted the spells. for a couple turns, and then he kind of just got worn down. But yeah, that first round of combat was pretty brutal for you too.
Yeah, so you killed 9 models over the course of the turn. You won 5 fights in a row.
That was gross. That was a big numbers reduction for you when you have a third of your army sitting in reserve.
I was not expecting to lose that many models on my front line. Spent a lot of points on shield. But no, that was good. The goblins came 1 turn too late. Probably could have saved Bolg by swarming.
I honestly didn't think you were going to put them on the center. And that's why I was debating just letting them come on. Because I was like, I want to know where they're going to go. Yeah, you kind of caught me off guard with that one.
Well, they can't set up in control zones, but everyone was in combat. So there were no control zones. So I was like, oh, I might fit. After that, the game evened out a little because then you broke me. Next turn or 2 later, I broke you.
You broke me on the last turn.
I think the biggest thing that I get caught into doing is my heroes will just like keep diving in with all the kills. You got the kills you needed, and then you just went out and threatened the objectives. You played really well. Good game.
Thank you, sir.
No worries.